There is a character in Super Smash Bros. Melee that is so powerful, so dangerous, that he is forbidden from mainstream play. This character is so powerful that his creators never even intended for him to be playable, and yet, through some horrible twist of fate, he was. In Super Smash Bros. Melee, Giga Bowser is a final boss of sorts. He's fought at the end of event mode and in the harder difficulties of adventure mode. This more monstrous take on Bowser may seem to be the same character, just with a bit more oomph. But certain differences between him and Bowser make him a much better and stranger character. Giga Bowser is nearly twice the size of Bowser, and many of his attacks hit harder as well. He has much higher knockback resistance and a greater weight than any character in the game. His moveset on face value is the same as Bowser's, even sharing similar frame data and properties, but there are key differences. Bowser in SSBM is a character very much reliant on his up B, Whirling Fortress. This one move offers Bowser 4 frames of invincibility during its startup. Also, when used properly, this move cannot be shield grab, and it allows Bowser the ability to move much more quickly than with any of his other movement options. It can be used to win neutral interactions, edge guard, attack out of shield, and even ledge hog. In a character seen as the worst in the game, this move is Bowser's main saving grace, offering him range, speed, and protection. And Giga Bowser's version of this move is exponentially better.
You know, Giga Bowser's kind of broken. His flames never get smaller, and his up B has complete invincibility for like almost half a second. His up B has complete invincibility. All you have to do with Giga Bowser is press up B. That's how you win with Giga Bowser.
From around 2007 to 2008, Melee god Jason Mewtwo King Zimmerman would begin exploring the potential of Giga Bowser as a competitive character. One of the first things to stand out to him was Whirling Giga Fortress, an up special move that granted the character 26 frames of invincibility, and which could be used more aggressively than Bowser's Whirling Fortress. This move was bigger, faster, stronger, and extremely safe in most situations. With this up B possibly being the best move in the game, Mewtwo King soon found that Giga Bowser was dominant against just about every character, except for one.
Giga Bowser beats every character except for Jigglypuff. So, let me tell you something about Jigglypuff against Giga Bowser. If Jigglypuff hits Giga Bowser with Pound, what happens? Giga Bowser doesn't get knocked down on the ground, but what happens is Giga Bowser's put in landing lag. You could Pound Rest, and it's a true hit-stun combo in that matchup.
By hitting Giga Bowser with Pound or other moves, M2K found that he could then trigger the Brute's absurd 30 frames of landing lag. This unprecedented half second of immobilization made Giga Bowser a sitting duck for a Jigglypuff rest. Not only did this strategy work, it was also extremely easy to execute. It seemed like the meta had been solved. Giga Bowser was broken, but Jigglypuff was even more broken. M2K would drop Giga Bowser and focus on more important things, and for years, the Giga Bowser meta was stagnant. Giga Bowser was not even playable in base Melee, so even as the game grew into an enduring esport, he would remain a footnote. That is, until one seismic event that would change Melee forever. 3 months into the COVID-19 lockdown, Project Slippy was unleashed onto the world. This game-changing modification would allow SSBM to be played online with rollback netcode for the first time. Slippy gave a fast and responsive online infrastructure to the 20-year-old game. But some mischief makers soon learned how to exploit the program, bringing unintended characters into the game's online matchmaking system known as Unranked. Among these players was Justin Dark Gen X Cohen, a Melee multi-hyphenate from New Jersey who I spoke to for this video. Here's him explaining what went down.
This was during the COVID era. Someone discovered that you could play as unintended characters on Unranked. So you could play as the Mario climbers, which were basically ice climbers, but with 2 Marios instead of Nana and Popo. You could play as the wireframes. You could play as other characters, and you could also play as Giga Bowser. And it was really funny just loading into a game, seeing Giga Bowser T-pose onto the screen because he doesn't have an animation for when he loads in because it's probably not intended to be played. And you just load into the game as Giga Bowser, and you're just this giant, like, hulking beast walking around the screen, larger than half the stages, and you just fight people. And I thought it would be funny if I just went on unranked and played Giga Bowser into people, just because of the novelty of it.
DarkGenX was not the only player to toy with Giga Bowser at this time, but his dedication to the character was especially serious. He more or less became a Giga Bowser main overnight. Beyond using the character on Unranked, he would also send his Giga Bowser out to fight expert players in the Melee Online Discord server. Soon, he was learning new things about the character.
And because I played the character for a couple of days non-stop, I started like discovering things about the character and exploring how the character worked in certain matchups, figuring out like intricacies of how to play the character.
Over time, DarkGenX found 3 elements in the character that made him especially hard to beat when played correctly. The first element was that Giga Bowser could not be grabbed. This, in turn, made his shield game much stronger.
There's the entire idea in any fighting game where grab beats shield, shield beats move, and then move beats grab, like the triangle, the rock, paper, scissors dynamic. Giga Bowser cannot be grabbed. By nature of him being very big, and thus having a giant shield, if he just holds shield, there are very few things you can do to actually hit him out of shield, unless you whittle it down very heavily and hit him with moves.
If Giga Bowser's shield was attacked, DarkGenX could then use Giga Whirling Fortress out of shield as a nearly unpunishable way to hit back. This move could even be used to go straight to ledge, and then linked into Giga Bowser's massive ledge get-up attack.
And you basically get a guaranteed hit or a guaranteed like escape option off of just being hit in shield and up being out of shield.
Finally, DarkGenX found that Giga Bowser's up smash could reach all the way up to the top platform on most stages, giving Giga the ability to juggle characters easily and get early kills. For maybe the first time, DarkGenX was helping to build a modern meta for one of Melee's most forgotten fighters. This new approach to the character even worked relatively well as an answer to Jigglypuff. While the Jigglypuff matchup was by no means easy, it was a different Pink Floaty who would be Giga's greatest threat.
Don't get me wrong, I think Puff does very well against Giga Bowser and beats Giga Bowser, but I don't think it is the 100-0 that most people who watch the Mewtwo King video and have only that frame of reference to go on think it is. Like, I would be more concerned if someone were to counterpick me with Peach than with Puff.
Peach was one of the few characters who could really challenge Giga Bowser's shield and take advantage of his massive hurt boxes. And all she had to do was press down on the C-stick.
The basic, like, top-down idea is this. You, as a Giga Bowser, want to be underneath the opponent. The only exception to this rule is Peach, because, as most people know, Peach's down smash is a multi-hit move, and you know how, like, as a newer players will sometimes, like, nair into a Peach's down smash at 0 as Fox, and they get hit for like 80% in the blender and die. Giga Bowser, if you just picture, you're like, Giga Bowser's massive. If you get hit by a Peach and you are underneath the side platform as Giga Bowser, you are taking a stupid amount of damage every single time. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
While DarkGenX was building a new Giga Bowser metagame, hundreds of miles away, another player would break new ground for the character as well. There's a saying in Pittsburgh Melee, if you can find a way to access the character, then they are legal. It was under this philosophy that PGHTO and player Gumball would do something no player has done before in SSBM's recorded history: enter Giga Bowser into a tournament. It was July, and while Giga Bowser was set to be removed from Unranked, he was and remains playable in Direct Connect matches, the same kind of matches used in 1v1 online tournaments. Gumball gave no advance notice that he would be using the character, but entered it into PGH's Man on a Ledge 322 on July 17th, 2020. Ready?
We'll be right back.
For the first time ever, Giga Bowser had competed in a tournament set of Super Smash Bros. Melee, and he lost. WA Matt had proven that characters like Falco still do very well versus Giga Bowser when played properly.
It was heartbreaking. I never thought my emotion or my composure would be able to get back.
But this was a double elimination tournament, and Gumball still had one more chance to redeem the banished beast. After going up 1-0 versus Peach main John, Gumball would find himself down 1 stock to 3 against a character that many Giga Bowser theorists believe beat Giga Bowser harder than Puff. He would need to make a reverse 3 stock in order to win the game. Afterwards, Gumball would run through 3 Marth players, TGS Wolfram, Rodney, and Alternative. Before going head-to-head against Jada in Losers Round 5. He would lose. As the 12th seed, he placed 5th. It was a promising showing, but this would be Gumball's last Giga Bowser tournament.
Either like a week from then or like not long after that. They patched out Giga Bowser in, as I understand, in the in unranked, yeah. And so it was like I couldn't grind. I couldn't go on there and play Giga Bowser normally. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna keep making issues for my own tournament.
On Thursday, July 23rd, 2020, Darkgenix would release the second ever Giga Bowser combo video, So Long G Bowser, to commemorate the character's removal from Unranked. It felt like after a summer of fun, people were saying goodbye to the beast. But Giga Bowser would get one more chance to shine on the big stage. During the early months of the pandemic, one of the most prominent East Coast online weeklies for Melee was East Coast Smash Sundays, hosted by T.O. Bender. Hoping to get the New Jersey native in his event, Bender asked Darkgenix on one August day what he could do to get him to enter.
They'd always ask me to enter events, and I normally don't enter netplay tournaments. I had a little stint for a couple of months where I would enter stuff, like, I do all right. I think I qualified for LICS 3 when I was like actually active playing, but I didn't really enter a lot of netplay tournaments. But Bender said, to Darkgenix, Justin, like, can you enter a netplay tournament of mine? Enter a netplay tournament of mine. And I'm like, I'll think about it. And he was like, okay, here's the deal. You enter this netplay tournament of mine, and I will either unban wobbling, or I will allow Giga Bowser for one event. There already were wobbling legal tournaments, but Giga Bowser legal tournaments, unheard of. So I was like, you know what? Sure. I'll enter East Coast Smash Sundays if you like Giga Bowser.
The second ever Giga-enabled tournament was about to begin. Darkgenix's first opponent would be Falcon main G Regulate. The two would spend much of Game 1 trading stocks, but Darkgenix would secure the win with a reversed F smash edge guard. G-Regulate would then take Dark Gen X to Final Destination, where he would be promptly zeroed to death at the beginning of the game. Even landing a Falcon Punch edgeguard afterwards was not enough for G-Regulate to take the game or the set. Giga Bowser would go on. Round 2 would put Dark Gen X's theory about Giga Bowser matchups to the test, though. Faust was the event's 3rd seed, and they played Jigglypuff, the character that supposedly beat Giga Bowser harder than anyone.
There were definitely some people who said different things, such as, I think Faust DQ'd after the first game, or 2 stocks of the first game, because the character was fundamentally broken.
When I reached out to Faust for this video, they said that Puff couldn't beat Giga Bowser at all due to her lack of shield pressure options, and that it was silly of Bender to allow the character into the tournament in the first place. Faust would refuse to fight altogether, and Dark Gen X's Giga Bowser would go on. After taking Game 1, Dark Gen X's Giga Bowser dropped Game 2 against Majersk's Captain Falcon. The Falcon player would not take another game. For the first time ever, a Giga Bowser was in Winners Finals. Here, Dark Gen X's Giga Bowser would face another New Jersey player, a chic main named Tommy.
S to the U to the R to the V to the I to the B to the A to the L. Defense, B through, defense, B through. S to the U to the R to the V to the I to the B to the A to the L. Defense, B through, defense, B through. To the victim, go to spoils. Walk the thermometer, blood will boil. Down I'ma ride, and I don't hide. Rock to the death, I will survive. You don't wanna get a little taste of Jack, so face the facts and break them back, so shake the tax. Full front through, hit 1, 2, 3, 4 down at the same time. Be damned if I lose and they try to take mine. Gotta get cash, feel deep on arrival. I will take the spot in your title. Rifle, blast ya, strike like asthma. Give me my space, yeah. Fight cause I have to, so I'm a slasher. If you wanna chase, yeah, I won't leave a trace, yeah. S to the U to the R to the V to the I to the B to the A to the L. Defense, B through, defense, B through. S to the U to the R to the V to the I to the B to the A to the L. Defense, B through, defense, B through.
After losing Game 1, Tommy would make an unusual character counterpick, Ness.
Infectious, yet the freshest and I'm restless. Check this, what you mess with is a death wish. Let's get ready cause you can't stop mine. Chain saw, stop sign on your back blind side. Roll like a tank, hit like a tank. Now for the way with the money to the bank. Crush, kill, destroy your opponent. I'm a survivor, only component. Zoning, gotta make it to the next morning. Roman, seeing who I'm gonna hit, honing. Pinpoint accurate, laser aim in the system, but I ain't playing your games. S to the U to the R to the V to the I to the B to the A to the L. Defense, B through, defense, B through. S to the U to the R to the V to the I to the B to the A to the L. Defense, B through, defense, B through.
Years ago, Tommy had played casual Project M games against a friend of his who would play as that game's version of Giga Bowser. Back in those days, Tommy found that Ness's PK Fire could be used to quickly rack up damage against Giga Bowser. But attempting the same trick in Melee years later, he did not see the same success.
I regret doing it afterwards, but I'm like, hey, it worked in PM all those years ago. Let me just try it out. And it did not pan out well.
Dark Gen X's Giga Bowser now had a 2-game lead. Tommy would need to win the next 3 games straight to keep his winners run alive. Tommy's Nest Gambit had not paid off, but his trusty Sheik came in clutch for the next 2 games. It was now Game 5, and whoever would take this last game would be most likely to win the tournament, sitting on winner's side of Grand Finals. Bowser was now in grand finals, and what had begun as a joke would end in a massacre. In Grands, Dark Gen X would quickly dispense of Falco main FMB 5K, and for one of the world's only and greatest Giga Bowser mains, this was a joyful moment.
Little fulfillment from that one, I think. I think I proved my character's strengths, even though I was the 6th seed winning that tournament, playing against some strong players. Happy with how it went. And overall, I think that East Coast Special was a good demonstration of what the character can do. FMB 5K, Jesse definitely said things that I probably will not repeat on this video, so you do not get demonetized, but he had some very aggressive remarks in regards to my character and the set that was played in Grand Finals.
Giga Bowser would get one more chance to compete in a tournament when the organizers of the New England Online Arcadian enlisted Dark Gen X to enter the event.
Calvar, a #1 in New Hampshire at the time and a former top 100 player, also another Giga Bowser enthusiast, he messaged me asking if I wanted to enter the New England Online Arcadian. I was like, sure. If you let Giga Bowser into the tournament, I'll enter too.
Dark Gen X's wish was granted. However, he was only allowed to play Giga Bowser if the other player consented. Nobody did. Dark Gen X would get to top 8 in that event without playing Giga Bowser a single time.
Every single match during that event, I asked, would you like a gentleman to be playing Giga Bowser? Every single person who I asked said no.
Me and Justin were supposed to play, and he types in the chat, I believe, hey, can I go Giga Bowser game 1? And I said, I had to pause. I was in a phase where I was taking every netplay tournament like super seriously. Everything mattered to me. This tournament in particular, because I paid entry. There was a lot of money to be played for at this tournament. And then I paused and I thought, okay, if I win this set game 5 with a Giga Bowser win as my game 1, I will feel empty inside.
It was almost as if people didn't want to bother with a typically unplayable boss character.
I'm literally playing every day, and Gumball goes Giga Bowser in a mole bracket against me. And I lose, and I literally DQ out of the bracket. I literally, I was so mad.
That was Rodney speaking. You might remember that he lost to Gumball's Giga Bowser at Man on a Ledge 322 back in July of 2020. He doesn't remember the details of the tournament perfectly, but he's still mad. All of this is to say that Giga Bowser might be a fun novelty for those fighting the character once or twice, but even if the character is likely not the best in the game, he's not a fun opponent. And while we have seen 2 Giga Bowser tournament runs now, both of these players chose to play Giga Bowser and Giga Bowser alone throughout their bracket. But Giga Bowser's true potential wouldn't really be reached until players started using the character as a counterpick.
I think that including a new character into a metagame who is essentially a giant execution test versus a bunch of players who have 0 matchup experience would lead to very funny results in that I think a bunch of them will get destroyed.
Giga Bowser.
Cheater! Cheater!
But also, it would start developing character counterpicks because people would start saying, okay, it's much easier to play Peach, or it's much easier to play as Jigglypuff against Giga Bowser than it is to play as Fox or Falco or Sheep. And then the Giga Bowser player might counterpick as Fox or counterpick as like Marth or something like that. Like, can you imagine a game 5 like Nailbiter set and then someone just counterpicks Giga Bowser? Like the controversy behind that if Giga Bowser was legal.
In Melee, character counterpicks are allowed after each match, with the winning player of the previous match locking in a character before the losing player of the previous match picks their character. This means that were Giga Bowser hypothetically to be legal, players could pull out a surprise Giga Bowser counterpick in a Game 3 or Game 5 tiebreaker scenario, and thus get an easy win. With Giga Bowser being an easy character to play relative to the rest of the cast, with winning matchups on the game's most popular characters, this could absolutely upend the metagame permanently.
I think he is a top 3 character, but I think that the way that he is a good character is very extreme and would be meta-centralizing.
Despite this, there are still some who dream of a day where Giga Bowser can roam free.
First, Chuck, what are your thoughts on Giga Bowser? He's a Giga Chad.
Should be legal in Melee.
I love Giga Bowser. I don't know what was I gonna say. I'm sorry.
When I started working on this video in August of 2022, I asked my Twitter followers and my YouTube subscribers if Giga Bowser should be legal in competitive play. Out of 37 votes on Twitter, 73% said yes, Giga Bowser should be legal. Afterwards, I polled my YouTube subscribers and received 322 votes, where 69% of respondents said that Giga Bowser should be legal in competitive Melee. So where do we go from here? With Nintendo taking a more active role in the Smash scene lately, it seems less and less likely that any sort of modding or cheating is going to be something that can be done, at least in major Smash tournaments. Without using either cheats or hacks, there's not really a consistent way to use Giga Bowser as a playable character. Still, there might be some hope for Giga Bowser's future in the online space. In what has become a new tradition in Super Smash Bros. Melee, every April 1st, Unranked will go from featuring only 6 tournament legal stages to featuring additional stages that are traditionally banned in competitive play. In this tradition, DarkGenX has asked Fizzy that perhaps Giga Bowser could also be made legal during this single day of the year. In his eyes, this is one of the few things that may still be able to revitalize the character.
I think that if Fizzy decides to make Giga Bowser legal for one day on Unranked, as in April 1st, I think that he might get a chance in the spotlight.
He has not gotten a definitive answer back, but DarkGenX says there is a chance that come next year, a Koopa Kaju may be coming for you. Thank you to Johnny Gumball Gamble, Joseph Mullen, Skeleton SSBM, and Justin DarkGenX Cohen for your help with this video. There's a lot of other people who I have to thank, and I'm going to put their names on screen. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the Giga Bowser. This was a lot of work. So now I'd like to just wrap up some things that I did not get to in the video. So we technically ended our narrative around October of 2020, but actually in September 2020, there was a video called Developing a Meta Giga Bowser, which released and was made by Joseph Mullen and the Forbidden Characters Discord. This video was a great resource for myself and for others. I want to definitely shout out those folks. They did an amazing job. Additionally, I want to say that there was a tiny Giga Bowser renaissance around 2021 when Slippy teams started really popping up, and there was a brief period where people would be playing Giga Bowser in the game's team mode because he had not been patched out of it, and he wasn't for a while. If you want to host a Giga Bowser legal tournament, it's very doable. The character is still able to be played on Slippy with easy to access action replay codes.
Woostones, no, I don't think that Giga Bowser should be legal. I have a hard time thinking that's a controversial opinion too.